It's all right. It's all right. Anyway, what up, my dogs? It is 6:31. It is May 12th. It's a good day. It's a good day. Hopefully, a lot of you guys have stayed the course. For those of you who've been watching the 630 Club, my name is Scott Redler. I'm the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Lab.com. And for those of you who tried the Alpha Team last week, pretty much got to see how we do things, how we go about our day, how we go about our week. Every day I'm up early, 4:45. I'm doing a little bit of workout in my sauna with a few hundred of my closest friends. And then I come in, I start doing my chart work, and I execute. I think, a lot of us are coming in pretty good position. If you stayed the course with your 401k, putting money in every single month, you did just fine. If you put in 2 tiers or 3 tiers of BOS account, you did pretty fine. And if you trade for a living, I think, you're doing pretty well. I don't have a ton of stuff on, but this is the Alpha Team. I do have TSLL on. I have IBIT on. I have Hertz, RGTR, WRD. Really, my big plays are I bought 571 calls, and I have 560 puts. So the 571 calls will more than, make up for the 560 puts. I have 2 TSLL calls. That's nice. Nice 11 and a halves. It's opening up 13 and change. Some GME. We were focusing on the Nvidia 120s. Got some Meta also. We went with some Meta 6. Either which way, I'm not going to get into it. But bottom line is, I think those who, keep an even head and just continue to focus and go with the right setup at the right time and push the keys and have their mind right could make a living doing this. And you could also save for college. You could also, create wealth over time. You just got to stay the course, and you got to learn, and you got to take accountability for the way you go about your process and what you're doing. As of right now, let's go with the Spies. Where are the Spies at? The Spies right now are at 581 and change, which is a pretty big move. You can't see it on this chart, but you can see it right there. 581.60 is above 576, below 584. It's a big move, very big move. Over the weekend, or what was it, Sunday, I just sent out a little tweet. I'm like, hey, guys, I know you might not like his style and how rambunctious he is. And, if he was a kid, I wouldn't have my kid friends with him, but bottom line is a lot of winning this weekend, or a lot of progress. China, U.S., progress. India, Pakistan, progress. Russia, Ukraine, progress. Drug prices, progress. I'm like, I don't know. Things are happening. Anyway, here we are. The Spies are 582. It's nice anyway. So we'll see how it goes. If you're coming flat, you know what? You got to figure out how to make some money. Maybe short versus 5, 15-minute high. You have to be patient. You can't buy this open. And, think about what you could do a little bit different next time. So anyway, what are some of the things that we've been focusing on? Listen, it was funny. So this was pretty funny, I'm going to say, because, on Friday, I sent out a chart. And I'm like, Tesla time. People are like, Red Dog, you got stopped out of Tesla. I'm like, I did get stopped out of Tesla. I got stopped out on this day. On this day, it went below 279. And that day, it looked as if this bullish type flag was breaking to the downside. So what did I do? I got out of the way. Then what happened? 270, 272 held. And then on this day, I was like, wow, let me start buying some TSLL again. It's perking up. Changed, it held. And then on this day, I'm like, you know what? Tesla day. So we put it on as a power play, calls, and the stock. And then people like, Red Dog, you said you got stopped out. I'm like, aren't we traders, my friends? I got stopped out at 279. I went to 271, 272. I stayed away from it for 2 days. And then I bought a little bit back on Thursday to re-engage and added to it on Friday. And now today, it's up very nice. So the TSLLs are, up 15%. They just trimmed 75%. I have a bunch of options. And for those of you who are in Tesla itself, we talked about how it can get to 325. So that is how you change or switch gears. One day it doesn't look like it's going to happen. You lose a little bit of money. A few days later, it changes. It feels better. You go after it. Anyway, I also focused on Meta, and I was off the desk, thank goodness. I didn't buy the stock, but I have the options. I have the 610s. Figured maybe you can get to 635 or 659, and Meta's having a nice morning. So maybe you're in a little bit of Meta with me, up 40 points. It's nice. And anyway, so those are the two, my two big winners. You don't have to be in a ton of things besides, like I said before, I have the SPY 571s. So those things that I bought for like $2 will probably be about 12, and the 560s I have for 2. Got to subtract that. So if you took a straddle thinking it'd be a big move, you're getting a big move. Let's hope everything stays up here until about 9 o'clock. Anyway, no 630 Club on X. Do you see 630 Club? Conrad, yep. Check to see if 630 Club's on X. Is it? You're watching it on X? All right, K-Dub. It's to go in there. Anyway, so with that said, what else? I don't have Amazon on, but for those of you who do, you could probably see 206, probably even 210. I should have taken some Amazon. I did not. Where's Amazon? Again, you don't have to be in everything to make a living. Amazon is 208 right there. 206 to 210 right in there. So you got to pick and choose, your battles. I'm still in oil. Wow. We bought a little oil last week, thinking maybe we got a higher low here. SJ gave us that call. That was a nice one. And USO is up a bit. So that's working. USO is up a bit, more than a bit, 3% actually. So it's a nice. We'll see what happens with this ASTS. ASTS is really set up nice. It has earnings after the close. It's not an earnings play, but maybe they give a company update and, it'll, say something. A lot of people think this is going to be $50, $55 this year. This is a big base, lots of accumulation. I know Google accumulated some. BlackRock's been accumulating some. What am I in? I am in, I think, 2 sets of calls. I'm in the 27s and 28s for this Friday. So it'd be nice. This would be like an extra bonus. Also, a lot of guys made good money with QBTS last week. Big move for quantum computing. So some of the guys on the Alpha team like, hey, why don't we take some RGTI earnings? Options just in case they had a good quarter too. So I'm in some of this. We'll see how it goes. I'm also in some stock. I'll trim some stock. I'll hold the options, and we'll see how it goes. But ultimately, so a lot of little things. You could be in quantum names. You could be in a little bit of oil. You could be in Tesla. You could be in Meta. You could be in the indices. You could doing something, not just complaining and not just pointing fingers at things you can't control and yelling at the TV set. What does that do for you? It does a whole lot of nothing. Anyway, let me say hello to some of my dogs around the world. What do we got? We got Sully saying NBIS. Chris, hard to buy calls on Friday closing. You had to buy calls. Oh, good for you. Apple, I'm not an Apple. Nvidia, where's resistance? We can get to that. Thomas says, good morning, Scott. Gold says he's watching on X. So is Joe. So Starlight. Getting it done is getting it done. Joe Rubbersoul, morning. Bitcoin and Mr. both running. Coin should move. Coin actually acting a little bit better. Chart did look good on Friday. I even said at the end of the day, I'm like, if it closes above 295. Joey A is down with the OPP. Remember we played that on Thursday? Kenneth Rosenberg. There were insider buys on AST late last week. I love insider buys. Usually there's insider sells. They're giving out all their free money. So when you have an insider buy, that means something. All right, that's interesting. So you could talk to me right here. So I was, who said that? We got biggest gap up I've seen. So it's nice to have some stuff on. Happy Monday, Glenn. I'm still in TSLL, ASTS, QUB. Kenneth, you having a good day. Good morning. It's who said that? Who said that? Meta and Hood. Hood's been really good. I told you guys that Hood has gone up the food chain. But anyway, Palantir. Yeah, Palantir proved that there's still risk out there. Anyway, let's get it down to you. Look at Palantir. Look how Palantir filled that, filled that post earnings gap so fast right there. Like if this wasn't a good stock, it wouldn't have done it. It's like, or if the market wasn't ready for risk, look how that got filled in like 3 days. I'm not in it, but I'm just saying, who is this or that dog? Trump said to buy stock last week. He said like 3 weeks ago to buy stock. Anyway, Listen, I don't love everything that he does, but I'm just saying, like, he's been taking a lot of flack, and anyway, some things are getting done, and we'll see what the story is moving on from here. What is a 25/20 subscription? It's a Red Dog Mindset. It's a little bit of everything. So if you enjoy this 6:30 club, which is right now, come the fall, it's no longer going to be here. So sign up for Red Dog Mindset. Anyway, check it out. There's a premium button right there. It's $10 a month. Not so bad. This has been free for 5 years. With that said, Nvidia, you want to see where there's resistance? I think there's resistance right around this 122.50. Remember this little perk up? It perked up above 115.85 and kind of held it. It was a little sluggish, but anyway, I have the 120 calls on. Unfortunately, I wasn't on my desk. I didn't buy the stock. I'd like to be in the stock also, but I did add to the 120 calls, and that's going to be, we're adding about $1. There'll be 250, so 150% between a few friends. Hey, oh, it's like a hickey from Kinnicky. It's better than a Hallmark card. What movie? Come on, you guys know that. I just dated myself. Anyway. What else we got going on here? Who else is talking? IWM is booming. That's true. I would definitely trim some stuff on the open. I've already started to trim some TSLL. I'm actually going to trim some now. So the beauty of the alpha team is you can see what I do when I do it. So I came in long TSL, double right there. So if you go like this to the alpha team, and I go over here and just say I sell some, a little bit, you guys can see it live. So watch, I'm going to sell a little TSL. Going to just sell a little bit, just to ring the register. Ring, ring. You still see it go red. It should go red in like, it takes a second. Let's see. Boom. See that? That showed I'm reducing. Anyway, with that being said, you had a whole week to try us out. Hopefully some people converted. If you didn't, you don't want to be my friend. You don't want to be my amigo. It's okay. You can hang out here. Grease is the word. Right? Kenny knows. You don't see it in the bottom of in YouTube. Where could the IWM get to? IWM can get to 208-ish. Where's IWM right now? Oh, holy sugar honey iced tea. It's up 10. Wow, there's some option guys getting blown out of the water. Not that I ever want to see anyone get blown out of the water, but wow, that's a big move. I don't have any on, but again, I got the Spies 571s. Where are those? Those will be at $10, $11. Again, you got to figure out what's on your go-to list. What do you want to interact with? You got to start somewhere, and you got to just press your buttons. I talk about 7 accounts that we go over. I'm 52. I have 7 accounts. 401k. When we were down 15% off the highs, I was like, guys, don't stop investing. We were down 21% off the highs. I'm like, guys, I don't care that it's market in turmoil. Don't start selling your 401k long-term accounts. The world's not ending, guys. Usually over time, the S&P bull market wins. Anyway, if you did put 2 tiers of your blood in the street account to work and you didn't sell one, today will probably be a day you should be selling, a little bit of your blood in the street account. But anyway, with that said, it is 6:44. I got to do my 40 charts. I appreciate you. Hopefully you had a great Mother's Day. Hopefully you had a nice weekend. Love it. It's May. We're getting closer through the spring. The weather's going to get better. Get outside. Feel good. Control what you control. Get your mind right. If you don't have your mind right, you're never going to execute. If you point fingers at the world, where you're at, not happy, you'll be pointing everywhere and you'll be getting nowhere. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, hey, what could you do different? If you want changes, you have to make changes. If you want to make money in the market, you have to learn. Okay. If you want to press buttons with confidence, you have to figure out the reason why you're doing things. Anyway, XBI is down. All right. The bios suck. Excuse my French. I'm not in the bios anyway. And look how this closed. XBI. It's down 10 cents. What's gold doing? Gold's probably down a bunch. Down 10. I'm not saying I called the top on gold, which I didn't, but we made some good money in this with puts. It was a power play on this day. Bitcoin's been doing great. IBIT's been doing great. I came out with a pretty big call here, I have to say. Red Dog's not a Puerto Rico guy who lives in Puerto Rico, who's not paying any taxes like all the other Bitcoin people. I just traded and I put it on my go-to list, and we were talking about it right here. We were buying the $50 and $51 calls and buying the IBIT, and looks like Bitcoin's on its way to take out 108,000 at some point. Mister's been really good. Mister, wow, it's probably up a bunch. I did buy some GME calls thinking that, hey, why wouldn't this idiot come out and talk about all of his $5 billion worth of Bitcoin purchases. He didn't do $5 billion, but he had $5 billion. He started to say, because he had no business, he can start buying Bitcoin. That was when Bitcoin was below 80,000. So I think any day now he's going to come out and talk about how much money he's making in his Bitcoin. And I think we're going to get a move towards 34. But, that's my thoughts. I have some options on just in case. Just in case. It's not a focus, just in case. Look what Rumble did the other day. Woo! Nice move. Anyway, with all that said, I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in. I got a lot to do. It's Monday. Let's trim and trail. Let's see how much of today's huge gap up holds. Don't be mad if you have nothing long. Don't be mad if you come in short. Figure it out. I'll see you guys later.